Hello my dear friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joy and today in this lecture we will continue our discussion on the year-end review report of NITI Aayog for the year 2018. Year-end report of NITI Aayog is a document that summarizes all the initiatives made by NITI Aayog in the past 1 year. So, there is another document which was recently released by NITI Aayog, that is Strategy for New India at 75 document. Please do not confuse with both these documents. Both these documents are entirely different documents. I have made lectures for both these documents. So, please do not confuse. Here we are discussing about year-end review report or the year-end report of NITI Aayog. We have already covered the first part of this document in lecture number 1. This will be lecture number 2 and this will be the last lecture on year-end review document of NITI Aayog. So, those who have missed the first lecture, please find the first lecture on StudyIQ channel or on my Facebook page. Please watch that lecture and then continue with this lecture. You will get a better clarity and understanding. Now, let us start. But before we start, let me briefly explain what we have discussed in the first lecture. In the first lecture, we covered all the initiatives and programs undertaken by NITI Aayog, like the District Hospital Index, different other indices like Healthy States Progressive India Report or the Health Index, Composite Water Management Index, School Education Quality Index, Digital Transformation Index, etc. We have also learned about SAT. SAT is Sustainable Action for Transforming Human Capital. And we have discussed what are the pillars or key social sectors in SAT, education and health. We have seen Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat. What is that? What are the initiatives taken under Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat? We have also seen development support services to states. We have seen public-private partnership in health. State Human Development Report was discussed. Aspirational district program was discussed. We also discussed about inclusive growth, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, the guidelines provided by NITI Aayog to various ministries, various schemes and programs under this mission. We also discussed about the role of various stakeholders like NGOs, etc. Now we will move on to long-term vision. The long-term vision of NITI Aayog. So, long-term mission can be divided into various subcategories. The first one is 3-year National Action Agenda and the Strategy for New India at 75. So, this is the document that we have discussed in the beginning. You can find the detailed lecture on Strategy for New India at 75 on StudyIQ channel. This is almost a 250-page document which is available in the PIB website. You can download it from PIB website or you can find it on my Facebook page. So, I have made 2 lectures on this document. So, I have covered all the important aspects in these 2 lectures. You can find the lectures on StudyIQ channel. Now, coming to 3-year National Action Agenda and Strategy for New India at 75. First one is 3-year National Action Agenda. So, this is an action agenda. It focuses on what actions needs to be taken. And the second, Strategy for New India, it focuses on strategies. These are the goals. And these goals are stated along with the ways to achieve them. So, what are the goals and how to achieve them is what is discussed under Strategy for New India at 75. Now, second one is regarding reformation of central PSCs or Central Public Sector Enterprise. NITI Aayog, in consultation with the administrative ministries, made certain recommendations for the strategic disinvestment of CPSCs. What is meant by disinvestment? Disinvestment means selling of government shares. So, now briefly about disinvestment. NITI Aayog has made certain recommendations for the strategic disinvestment. We have seen what is disinvestment and who has to approve or give approval for this disinvestment. Approval is given by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs or CCEA. This is very, very important. Such questions can be asked in objective type questions, especially for UPSC preliminary examination. Please do not confuse approval given by CCEA, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. And as of now, 30 CPSCs or Central PSCs has got approval for disinvestment from the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Now, the process of disinvestment. The process has to be carried out by DIPAM. PAM. So DPAM is Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. This is under the Ministry of Finance. So DPAM or Department of Investment and Public Asset Management carries out the process of disinvestment. So please do not confuse between both this. Approval has to be given by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs and process is carried out by DPAM. Now again, with regard to CPSEs, a report on sick or loss-making or non-performing CPSEs was submitted by NITI Aayog to the government. And this report talks about 74 CPSEs. 74 CPSEs are almost loss-making or non-performing or they are sick. So a report was given by NITI Aayog to the concerned ministry or the government. Now regarding the closure of CPSE, so far more than 15 CPSEs are undergoing the closure process. So this closure is different from disinvestment. Disinvestment means selling of shares. Closure means shutting down of the CPSEs. So this is different. Now the next category is balanced regional development. So this aims at two factors, equity and inclusion. Equitable development of all the states or regions in the country and inclusive development. That means no region or no state is left out from the developmental process. So this is based on two pillars, equity and inclusion. Now what has been done by NITI Aayog in order to bring a balanced regional development? Now here, before going on to the initiatives of NITI Aayog, I would like to give you a clarity. So we have said that NITI Aayog has come up with a report, that is Strategy for New India at 75. So this report contains recommendations, strategies. Strategy for New India report is strategy based, recommendation based. But this year-end report of NITI Aayog is initiative based, what NITI Aayog has done. The other one is what has to be done by the government, the findings of NITI Aayog. So that is the difference. Now coming back to balanced regional development, the first initiative was release of special funds. During the era of planning commission, there were 5-year plans. So the last 5-year plan was the 12th 5-year plan, and it was during the 12th 5-year plan that the NITI Aayog was constituted. So NITI Aayog replaced Planning Commission during 12th 5-year plan. So there was certain balance fund that was already approved in the 12th 5-year plan, and NITI Aayog recommended that the balance of funds that are available in the 12th 5-year plan should be released to certain backward states like Odisha, Bihar and West Bengal. So this was the first recommendation. And it also recommended that there should be a one-time special assistance package given to Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. So a one-time special assistance package must be given to these states. Now looking at the states, what is the constitutional provision regarding this state? These states are covered under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. So what is this 6th schedule of Indian Constitution? The Indian Constitution provides special provisions for the administration of this tribal dominated areas in the 4 states, Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. These areas are called tribal areas. They are different from scheduled areas which are discussed in 5th schedule. So second recommendation of NITI Aayog was that a special fund package must be given to the states, and this was done by the government on the recommendation of NITI Aayog. So this is regarding release of special funds. Now the second category is development support to Northeast. In order to provide developmental assistance or support to the northeastern states, a committee was constituted by NITI Aayog in order to examine and suggest a roadmap for new industrial policy for northeastern and Himalayan states. And accordingly, a Northeast Industrial Development Scheme was prepared by DIPP, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, in the year 2017. And this scheme was based on the recommendations of NITI Aayog. So this is for the development of Northeastern region. Now the third one is the Northeastern Forum. NITI Forum for Northeast. It is the first ever regional forum constituted by NITI Aayog. And this has representation from all the northeastern states. Not only from northeastern states, it has representation from concerned central ministries, from central departments also. And this forum also has representation from eminent experts from various spheres. Reputed institutions like IIM, IIT, RIS, etc. are all part of this NITI forum for Northeast. And what is the objective of this forum? The objective is to identify constraints for accelerated, inclusive and sustainable economic growth. So, what are the problems regarding Northeast? What are the constraints faced by Northeastern states for inclusive, sustainable and accelerated economic growth in the region? And this forum also has to recommend interventions for addressing the constraints. So this is the forum, NITI Forum for Northeast, and it was constituted by the NITI Aayog. Now the fourth one or the fourth focus under balanced regional development was the holistic development of islands. The aim of this program is to develop identified islands as a unique model of sustainable development. So various islands will be identified and they will be developed as model for sustainable development. And NITI Aayog has shortlisted 10 islands in the first phase. And this 10 islands that were identified in the first phase, they were given a final site potential development report. So this report was made for all the 10 islands identified in the first phase. And secondly, a global investors conference was held in August 2018. And the aim of this conference was to showcase the tourism, economic and employment potential of Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The fifth initiative was the Island Development Agency or the IDA. IDA is Island Development Agency. It was set up in June 2017. It was set up by NITI Aayog, or rather based on the recommendations of NITI Aayog, and this is under the chairmanship of the Home Minister of India. The convener of Island Development Agency is the CEO of NITI Aayog. So NITI Aayog CEO will be the convener of this Island Development Agency. The objective of the Island Development Agency is to undertake reviews on the progress of holistic development of identified islands. Now the sixth initiative for balanced regional development is UNDP projects, GIS based planning. GIS based planning in UNDP project. An innovative GIS model was used in developing Village Profile and Taluka Planning Atlas, which was developed by BISA, Gujarat. And BISA, Gujarat is also developing the customized software based on actual requirement of each state or union territory separately. So based on this, NITI Aayog suggested using GIS, that is Geographical Information System, in planning, management and monitoring of government service delivery. Now next is the health and nutritional sector reforms. Firstly, two important bills are finalized. The first bill is the National Commission for Homeopathy or the NCH Bill 2017, and the second bill is the National Commission for Indian Systems of Medicine Bill of 2017. So both these bills are being finalized. And now coming to other initiatives, the first one is National Nutrition Strategy. So the NITI Aayog formulated the strategy providing the rationale and roadmap for the policy makers to make nutrition central in developmental agenda of the country. So a roadmap or a proper plan was given to policy makers of the country in order to bring in nutrition as a central focus in the developmental plan. And under this plan, it identifies the priority districts. That means those districts which have highest rates of malnutrition. And it also provides strategies to meet India's nutrition needs and targets. And it also focuses on an intersectoral convergence. Now, second one is the Poshan Abhiyan. The aim of Poshan Abhiyan is to improve the nutritional outcomes in the country in the next 3 years. So, in order to increase the nutritional outcomes in next 3 years, Poshan Abhiyan was initiated. A massive awareness and outreach campaign was launched. Now, third is the reforms in the pharmaceutical sector. NITI Aayog provided for policy inputs. It is basically a think tank. NITI Aayog is a think tank, so it will provide policy inputs to the government. So, it provided some policy inputs to make available affordable drugs and devices in the country. So, in order to make drugs and devices affordable and thereby improve the inclusion, NITI Aayog recommended certain roadmaps or policy inputs to the government. And an ordinance was promulgated to establish a board of governors under the chairmanship of NITI Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul to replace the Medical Council of India. We have made a detailed lecture on this issue. You can find it on the StudyIQ channel. Now next is the energy sector. NITI Aayog supported various states like Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Assam, etc. for the development of a state energy calculator. Now, the India Energy Security Scenario or the IESS, India Energy Security Scenario 2047 was revamped in 2015 and was used to determine intended nationally determined contribution targets. We have discussed about nationally determined contribution targets in the climate finance lecture. You can find the details of NDC in climate finance. NITI Aayog also launched a report on India's Renewable Electricity Roadmap 2030. And this document summarizes the opportunities and the constraints or the barriers in the electricity sector or in the renewable electricity sector. Also, the Draft National Energy Policy, NEP, was developed by NITI Aayog. NITI Aayog also developed State Energy Index. The State Energy Index will assess the state's status in ensuring accessible and affordable energy and also their sustainability and environmental friendliness. And the NITI Aayog is also working on to develop a dynamic GIS energy map of India in collaboration with the ISRO or ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. And this is aimed at providing energy related information to all the stakeholders for better decision making. Now let us discuss about the cross-sectoral interventions of NITI Aayog. The first one on employment and exports. A high-level task force was constituted by NITI Aayog in 2017 under the chairmanship of Vice Chairman of NITI Aayog on employment and exports. And this task force has made recommendations on jobs and exports. Now, second is rural drinking water. Around 1,000 crore rupees was released for the development of water resources in 19 arsenic and fluoride affected states for providing safe drinking water. Next is Swachh Bharat Mission. The achievements of Swachh Bharat Mission include coverage of rural households with toilets increased from 39% to 84% in the last 4 years. More than 90% of rural households now have access to toilets and they are using them. Thirdly, in the urban areas, 100% door-to-door collection of solid waste has been achieved in nearly 62,000 out of 84,000 wards, and 2,618 cities have declared themselves as ODF or open defecation free, out of which 2,089 cities have been certified as open defecation free by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs through a third-party verification. Now, who declares cities as open defecation free? It has to be declared by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So this is important. It can be asked in your examination in objective type questions. Now regarding higher education, recommendations were made for short-term measures for the reforms in higher education sector. For example, graded autonomy, reforms in the framework or accreditation framework, recommendations for improving the quality, regulatory recommendations, etc. And the MHRD is on the advanced stages of, implementing these recommendations provided by NITI Aayog. Now next is regarding port ecosystem. NITI Aayog conducted various inter-sector meetings. Now regarding India's gold market, NITI Aayog recommendations to transform India's gold market was finalized and submitted to the Ministry of Finance or the Finance Minister. On training and practice guide for social sector, 2 manuals were published. One was manual on gender inclusive planning and second one manual for social audit. And regarding strategy reports on strategies for self-reliance in critical and strategic resources of rare earth, and also effective utilization and monitoring of fly ash were produced. These are all not very important. You must just understand that NITI Aayog has intervened in all these sectors. That's why I am going through all these topics a bit fast. These are not very important. Important topics I have discussed in detail. Now regarding skill development, a subgroup of 10 chief ministers on skill development was serviced by the NITI Aayog, and the recommendations were made on improving the access, equity, relevance, quality, etc. So this is in brief about the year-end report of NITI Aayog. You can find the entire document on the PIB website. I will also upload the document on the Facebook page. It's a bit lengthy document, and I think I have covered all the important areas which is discussed in the document. You can go through the first lecture as well. So with both the lectures, you should be able to have a brief understanding about the entire document. Thank you. I wish you the very best.